So if we click on that assignment, we can go in and we'll see not a lot of details here. We're just going to go through and practice using this. One of the things, as I'm watching the chat, you guys are saying some awesome things about I just need more time to practice. I need more time to more time. We all need more time, trust me. But I love that you're willing to practice. I was talking with a colleague yesterday, and we're talking about the schools and the teachers that are really successful with like the Google resources are the ones that will try things rather than and talk to your colleagues and say, hey, can you figure this out? Ask questions. It really makes such a difference. And so do try, and that's why like office hours today will be great, because you can come and we've done 4 days of different things. Come and bring your questions and I can walk you through. You can share your screen. You have options. So definitely take advantage of that. And I know it's hard, Ruth. True story. Just try. There isn't a lot you can mess up. You are so right. That you really, it's very forgiving, and it is, we're all just learning here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on 008. One of the things that I'm hoping as we kind of roll through this is that you'll notice that we have so many similarities in the resources. And so as you kind of figure out how to do something in one, you'll see that that translates to other the other resources too. And so if we're doing Google Slides, Google Drawings, Google Forms, they all have very similar interactivity. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you a sample two-dimensional shape. And this is view only, so obviously we can't do anything to it. But you can see the instructions. I mean, it tells you to make a copy of this file. And so you guys know how to make a copy of the file. I know you know how to make a copy of the file because we did that yesterday with the slides. And so then once you've made a copy, you can edit that file. And when you're done, it says you can move the pink box to check your answers. So how fun is that? So let's go through. I'll give you guys a second to get clicked in, and I will actually also share the link to this file in the chat so you can get there that way. So in the chat, I'm dropping the file. So here's the two-dimensional shape. All right. So this is something that you can assign out to your students. You can give them that instructions. You know what? This is, don't worry about math. I mean, don't worry about not knowing about math. This is just a sample, and so you can play with it and go on. So if you don't know math, you'll be fine. So in the chat, I dropped the link too, so you can get there. So once you're there, does anybody want to unmute and tell me how to make a copy, or drop it in the chat to tell me how to make a copy of this file? I'm not that scary. Are you guys? Tell me how you make a copy. What would I click on first? Push file. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Mary. So if I click on file, I'm going to see a whole bunch of options here. I want to make a copy. And since we're all in our Google Classroom, we're all logged into our Google domain, I can copy this document and make it mine. And so if I make a copy, I can rename it. And so when I'm working with my kids, if I'm having them make a copy, I may want to have them put their name at the front. And so that's something, excuse me, you may want to consider. I also can tell it where I want it to go. And so this is a great organizational opportunity. And so I'm going to drop this in my Eagle Butte folder. All right, so now I've made a copy and I'm going to say okay. And once I've made this copy, this is now my file. And so I can now edit this document. So whereas before it was view only and I could only look at it, now I can edit the documents. When you make a copy, it adds it into your Google Drive and you can edit the file. And so I'll give you guys a quick second to make a copy and then just play around. See if you can see how your math, your shape identification skills are on this Thursday. All right. And so once I've done my work now, I can move the pink box to see my answers. And let's see what's there. Oh, cool. It looks like I did okay. And so this is an opportunity for your learners to do some practice and then also do a little self-check if they want. And so this is just an example. So did anybody get a chance to try that out? You got it. Awesome. And how did you do, Mary? Oh, Monica, so it won't let you copy it. So here's something that I'm wondering. Are you logged into your Google Classroom? Mary. Cheryl, you got a new computer and it works. That's so awesome. There, you're rocking those math skills. So if the file will not let you copy, it's more than likely because you are not logged in. And so I'm going to show you what that looks like and how you can solve that problem. And this is one of those things that's really good for your students too to know. And so I'm actually glad somebody had this problem because if your students say they can't do this, and so oh, hold on, I need to change my settings here. Hold on. So you should have to be logged in to make a copy. If you're getting that option, unless you're being asked to log in, because see the way it's shared, I'm being asked to log in. Oh, that was my file. Never mind. So I am not logged in anywhere, and so my make a copy is grayed out. So if I want to make a copy, I do need to make sure that I'm signed in. And so to do that, I can go over to the sign in the upper right-hand corner and sign in with, in your situation, your OHEDICA account. And so that's a way to, if you cannot make a copy, it means you're not signed in and you need to sign into your OHEDICA account, okay? So how did everybody else do? Oh, Tim, you got it done. Okay, so Monica, if you head to download, then you are not logged in. Yep, okay. So if you cannot leave my screen, that means that you're in full screen. And so if you can hit the escape key on your keyboard, that'll take you out of full screen, and then you should be able to resize your zoom and view other options. Awesome. I'm loving this. Okay, so your cursor will not allow you to click on any of the blue underlined items in the activities or the assignments. So Tony, I'm not sure. Did you make a copy of it? Oh, in the assignments. I'm not sure where your cursor will not allow you to click on any of the blue underlined items in the activities in the assignments. Okay, so you're saying here you're not able to click on anything? Is that what you're saying? Okay, you made a copy. So when you talk about blue, when you go around like this, if I double click on it, this is word art, and so it pops it up a little bit bigger. So it's not quite the same as text, but I should be able to click on it and drag it around. Are you able to do that?
Huh. I'm not even able to get to that page.
Okay. So do you want to share your screen and show me where you're at?
How do I do that?
So I'm going to stop sharing. Go ahead and click on the green square at the bottom of your window. And then you'll see it'll pop up with a window where you can say share, and you can pick your screen. And then
On the Zoom?
on the Zoom, yeah.
Okay. Hold on, I'm getting there. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, you're fine. Okay, so Monica, you need to make a copy of it. And so you'll have to go to that file, make a copy, and then you'll be able to edit it yourself. Oh, awesome. So you're in. Oh, I see where you've gone. Okay, so go ahead and scroll up.
Okay, hold on one second. Trying to get to there. My chat is blocking.
I know.
Okay.
It's like somebody said the other day they had more than one computer or well, more than one screen, and it does help.
Okay,
Okay.
you see this? This is,
Yep.
there's no pointer.
So click on
There's no,
that. Click on it. Just
right where I'm at? I
yep.
can't.
Yep. You just did. So click just
I did.
once. All right. Now do you see that? Now drop down and click. That's going to copy the link. So click on the two-dimensional shape words that are next to that. There you go. Click on that. And you're in the view only one, so you're going to need to make a copy of that one so that you can edit it. And so that's file, make a copy. And that's yours. Now, cool. Now we can test your math skills. Do you want to model it for us? I'm teasing you. So thank you for sharing that, and that's where you're at.
Thank you. All right, awesome. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, so Monica, you're going to need to make a copy. So just like Tony just did, you're going to have to do a file, make a copy. Mary Chris, you ask, where do we do our own Google Drawing? Is it in Slides? No, actually it's in Google Drawing, and we will create our own here in a couple seconds. I just wanted to show you guys some of the like how you can go in and what you can do, some of your options here. Okay, so once we're in our Google Slides, or not our, once we're in our drawing, so we've done that, I'm going to go back to the resources, so the 008 Google Classroom, Google Drawings. And so we've talked a little bit about how to, we went in and looked at the sample. This link below has the option for, it'll force a copy. And so if I click on that link, it's going to come up and force a copy. And I can show you guys how to set those links up if you need them. And I'll show that to you later on in the session. In Google Classroom, you really don't need to do the force a copy as much because you can determine what you want your students to do. So let's look at our step-by-step instructions for creating a Google Drawing. And so I tried to find some really good instructions that somebody had already made. And so this EduBlogger has put together a really nice resource. So everybody has access to this. We will do some step-by-step through, and then I'm also going to give you a little bit of time to explore because I've given you a ton of examples, and depending on your content area, it's going to, you're going to find different areas. And so as we scroll on down, Google Drawings allows you to do a lot of the graphics and publications. You can make interactive posters, you can do timelines. I mean, anything that you would like to be able to, like we just did that interactive math activity. So here we have a comparison. Tony Vincent is one of the really big Google bloggers and technology trainers, and he talks about the overlap here between Google Drawings and Google Slides, and kind of like how they're different and how they're the same. And so we've hung out in Google Slides quite a bit, and so you have that information. And so you can see in Google Slides, we have a lot more opportunities for audio. You can reorder slides. You can have a multi-page canvas. Google Drawings, it is a one-page canvas. And so when you see things that are like, they'll call it like an infographic or a tutorial of how to access something with lots of screenshots, that is almost always going to be something like a Google Drawing. You can, the similarities though, you can add the hyperlinks, you can draw, rearrange, you have all that functionality. And so you can put a lot of things in a slide or in a Google Drawings very easily. So let's, so here, here's a fun thing. These are shapegrams. They give you a tutorial to learn how to do Google Drawings. I mean, it's like, who doesn't want to play around with that kind of stuff? So let's go down and look at Google Drawings. And so how do we get there? Google Drawings is right below Google Forms. And so they have a cute little Giphy here that shows us that you have to do in your drive, new, and then you go down to more, and then you select Google Drawings. And so it is down there under more. So if we found Google Forms yesterday, you just go one more step. So that's how we find it. And so when we open Google Drawings, and so I'm going to go ahead and open a blank Google Drawings here so we have that going on, you come up with a blank page. And this is what used to intimidate me because it was like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this? But the cool thing is it gets better. So you come up with a blank page. You can change your size if you want to make sure that it is customized. If you don't change your size, you can resize it as you go. You see in the lower right corner, there is this little funky lines that lets you resize too. And so you can resize your page as you go, which is really nice. So this is our blank document. So by default, our drawing is transparent. And so that means that you can download your image as either a PNG, which has no background, or a JPEG, which does have a background. If you want your image to have a different color background, we can select the background by right-clicking, doing our background, and this is where the fun starts, you guys. I can pick a color, I can pick a custom color, and I can also do gradients. And so I like to use the gradients just because they're pretty. So right click and you've got your background, and then you can either do a solid or a gradient. And so you have some options there. So that is like how you can do that. And then after that, we can insert some things. And so I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes so I'll drop the guide into your chat. So here's the guide. And once you're in the guide, go ahead and create so I'm going to have you go ahead and create a new Google Drive, okay? And you can either do that from Drive, or I will give you the direct link to Google Drives in the chat too. So go ahead and create it, and then when we come back, we can practice how we insert things, because practicing here is the same as if you were going to insert something in slides, or if you were going to insert something in Google Docs. And so same concept, just a different tool. So I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to do that. Go ahead and ask any questions in the chat or unmute. And start inserting things. So did anybody change your background color to a different background color? Nice. Cool. Did you use the gradient? Did anybody use the gradient? Good. I like that. I mean, great. I just like the gradient. I think it's just super fun. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to look at ways we can create our design. And so when you're looking at the Insert tab, you have all these different options here. There's an image, there's a text box, shape, table, chart, diagram, word art, line. It can be like really overwhelming. Oh, I love that. People are using the gradient. So when we come here to create your design and you're looking at the insert, I'm gonna go to insert, and look at some of the options. We're going to start with an image. And so one of the really cool things with Google is when you are inserting an image, we can upload from the computer. And so let's say I have, my school's logo is on the computer. So I can quick insert, I can upload it from my computer. But I can also search the web. And so if I click on search the web, I'm going to have a search box that comes up over on the right-hand side of the page. So you might need to move the people to be able to see it. And I can search for images across the board. And so I can come here and I can say, okay, I want to look for the Google Drawings logo. Awesome. Okay, so I came up with the Google Drawings logo. I can click on this and it will say I have one selected, and then I can say insert. So it inserted it into my drawing. We do want to think about copyright, and you are going to notice when you do the insert image, search the web, it does tell you somewhere in there that you are searching the Creative Commons licensed resources. And so when you do insert, it does have that filter on. So that's one way to do it. Another way that I love to insert images is by URL. And so if I have a picture that I can legally use, and so if it's Creative Commons licensed, or if it is something that, it's my own picture. All right, that sounds good. If you want to, join in later, you can do that. Definitely, just watch. And actually, I would recommend that if you are kind of lost, just watch and then come back and play later. Anne says, have I ever used a stylus? You could definitely use a stylus. If you have a touch screen, you can definitely do that. So back to images. One of the things that I really like to be able to do is insert by URL. And so if I know the image URL, I can just insert that by pasting it in. And it's going to tell me only select images that you have confirmed that you have a license to use. And so this is where you're going to go somewhere like Pixabay or one of the other free photo places. I can look for computer. And now, so if I want this picture, I can click on it. I can right click, copy image address. And now when I insert image by URL, it brings it right up. And so if I'm trying to pull together my resources for a presentation, I can do that really easily. Pixabay, this one, it says it's free for commercial use and no attribution required. So I can use this image without having to worry about copyright or violating copyright. So super easy to be able to insert images and participate that way. So a couple other things with the insert, and then I will give you a little bit of time, and I'll also answer questions that are popping up in the chat. So I can also pull up images from my drive. So if I have pictures in my drive, if I have pictures in Google Photos, and notice I could take a picture from my camera. And so that is really great. If you are wanting students to insert an image of their homework, for example, they could bring that in, take a picture, and then they could also add additional content. And so we could insert some text by doing a text box, and we could say, I used Google Drawings to create this poster. So you have options there too. So those are all the ways you can insert an image. We also have a text box. We get down to shapes, and so like Susan's example, she shared her students were doing quite a bit of things with shapes. You have arrows, callouts, and then also equations. Tables, you can insert a table if you need to. And so if I wanted to insert a table so that I could organize my responses more easily, I can do that. There's diagrams I can bring in, there's charts that I can bring in, I can actually import from sheets. And so for some of the math and science classes, this can be a really great way to do your science reports, your lab reports. Word art. And so for those of you that when when we did the moving the pictures, moving the words over the shape, the words were in word art. And so I can say Google Drawings. And now when I hit enter, it comes up a lot bigger and more like it's fancy. And so I can edit it. I can change the fill. So I'm always looking for the fill color here. I can change the border color. I can change the font. So I can do all that type of thing. I can also do that with any of these resources. So like the text box, once I've selected that, you're going to notice that I can play with the fill here too. And so if I wanted to turn the text box a different color, I can do all that. And so you have so much control over what you can do and what you can create here. The other things you can prop in are words or are lines. And so like if you do have a stylus, you know, then I could come in and use it as actually a writing tool if I wanted to. So that's insert. So I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes to play around with insert. Yes, Vanessa asked if it is it essentially like Microsoft Publisher? And so yes, if you have used Publisher, this is very similar to Microsoft Publisher. And that is one of the things that how I think about it, because I used Microsoft Publisher before Google Drawings came along. So yes. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you guys can see, and so I'll give you a few minutes to. So what do we do next? You have some options here. You can save your image if you want to as a JPEG or a PNG, and that'll save it to your device. And it'll be a picture you can, excuse me, no longer edit it, but it is something that you can use. And so a lot of teachers will use this to make headers for their classroom in Google Classroom, or use that. Oh, Mary, of course you can share your screen. I'll let you share. Go ahead. Oh my gosh. Mary. I love how you did the hiding everybody else's faces. Did you actually take a picture with your computer, or is this a picture that you got from somewhere else?
We borrowed his pictures from the internet. He was on Google.
Was on Google. But what I like about that is you modeled some of the ways, like if you do want to post pictures of your classroom, blocking out the faces is a good way to, you know, as a way to do.
You were learning to a laptop.
Oh, good, Jay. Oh, okay. You're gonna need to sign into your Google Drawings. That's okay. You can just sign in with your OHEDA account real quick. And so we can ungroup these, and then I can drag this over the top, and you're going to see that this picture's in front, but I want Google Drawings to be in front. I can click on the Google Drawings picture, I can arrange, and I can say bring to front, and now it's in front of the other picture. So this is some of the really cool things that you can do with the layering and everything. So you guys have gone in, you've played around, you've done stuff with the fill tool, you've formatted, you've inserted, so many good things. So now I'm going to send you back to the resources and let you do a little exploring. So the original, this original two-dimensional shapes example, this is what we looked at originally, but if you scroll on down, Veronica Garcia has a ton of different examples. And so we have a view-only copy, and then there's also a forced copy. And so if I click on that, it's going to force me to make a copy of it so that I can interact with it. But she has cause and effect, events of the 21st century, which is a timeline, some magnetic poetry, renewable and non-renewable, and some science and technology, along with our two-dimensional shapes and the Venn diagram example. So lots of different examples to kind of dive in for your content area. And then also if we scroll on down, there's even more. And so we can go, here's a teaching math with Google Drawings, how to make an interactive poster, and ditch that textbook that we've been hanging out with a lot this week. Lots of different ideas for using Google Drawings. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do two things. I'm going to give you some time to explore Google Drawings so that you have that opportunity to look for some of the templates that we can just make we can do a file copy and edit it and make it ours. And so that's something we can use with our learners. We don't have to recreate the wheel. So what I'd like you to do with the Google Drawings is, as soon as if you've created or found a sample that you like, I'll put a post on our stream and we'll have this be our Google Drawings conversation. And so this is where share an idea, a link to an example, or something that you've created to use with Google Drawings. So this is an opportunity for us to have a quick conversation. And so this can be like a morning discussion, a way to collaborate. And so I'm going to post this out on our stream. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the link by clicking on the three dots, and I'm going to send it out to everyone. And I'm going to say, explore Google Drawings and share any ideas, examples in the stream. And here you go. So now I'll give you guys about 15 minutes to actually explore and create in Google Drawings, just because there's so many templates that are available that you don't have to recreate, that this can be a really powerful tool. I will be here to answer questions as we go. If you have anything, go ahead and type them in the chat or unmute. I'm not a big add-on girl, but some things I use regularly to make my life easier. So here we are. Some of the things that we've been talking about this week have been, so let's see. Like we've mentioned Flipgrid, and so Flipgrid is one of those resources that there is an add-on for Flipgrid, and so we could make it so that there's a Flipgrid add-on in the upper right-hand corner, and so I can do extensions really easily on my devices. So I'm going to go. So I'm going to model it on mainly in Chrome, because that is where what I tend to use. But here are some things that you may find really useful for you. There is a share to classroom that I can add to Chrome. And if I add that to Chrome, and I'll do that in my Ohitica account so I can show you how quick that is. So if I add this to my Chrome in my Ohitica account, so I'm logged in as me in my Ohitica account. Once I do that, it's added in the upper right-hand corner, and I can click on the little puzzle piece, and that's what shows me my extension. So and if I want to always see it, I can click on the pin here and it'll always be there. If we look at my TieGaps account, I have a lot of extensions up here that I use. Because I don't really use the Ohitica account regularly, I don't have a ton of extensions up here yet. So this Share to Google Classroom is super awesome because I can click on this now. Oh, as of August 15th. So that's like tomorrow or Saturday. That's very disappointing. Never mind, we are not going to deal with it then. I am sorry. This is something that I've used before, so I am, never mind. Erase that thought. So we will show you how to get rid of something. You can manage your extensions by clicking on the 3 dots. So always click on the 3 dots and see what else you can do. And I'm going to say remove from Chrome. And so now we've removed it. Very frustrating. Sorry, guys. So we're going to go back to the Chrome Web Store. And we're going to look at some of the ones that are really, really popular. So Share to Classroom was popular. If you, the Bitmojis, a lot of you guys use Bitmojis in your posters, which were awesome. If you want to do Bitmojis, you can add the Bitmoji extension. And I do have that on me personally. And so I have the Bitmoji here and I can use that to grab Bitmojis as I'm if I want to use those. So Bitmojis is like its whole, we could do a whole week on Bitmojis, I think. If you do Bitmojis, you have to set them up on your mobile device and then you sign in on your account in the Chrome add-on. So Bitmoji is one of those fun things, but it helps bring you in. Grammarly is one that a lot of teachers use a lot because when we think about writing and teaching grammar and all of that as we are, especially in a remote environment, if your students have the Grammarly for Chrome add-on on, it will essentially do grammar for them while you are, it'll automatically do that. There is a free and a paid version. I've only ever used the free version, so I'm not sure about the paid version, but Grammarly, especially for writing, can be really useful. So I will drop that in the add-ons here. I can never spell it. Grammarly, okay. So you can click on that if you would like. So in our stream, we are talking about different add-ons. And so if you go to the stream, if you have an add-on, share it there because I'd love to know if you guys are using add-ons. Another one that has been really popular, and we talked about this one when we did the PDF day on the slides day, so we'll talk about it again tomorrow in the slides day briefly. So the Cami extension allows you to edit your PDFs really easily. And so it gives you, essentially, it turns it into a digital whiteboard. There's a free version and a paid version of the Cami app also, or the Cami extension also. I've only ever used the free version. And so that's another one that you may want to check out for you and your students. So something to think about with these when we do the add-ons, like the Bitmoji, that would be something only you need because you're just going to grab those and use those in your classwork. The Grammarly, the Cami, you and your students will need them. And so if it's something that you want, you'll probably want to have the IT push those out for your students. Screencastify is another one of those tools that I use some. And the nice thing with Screencastify is it runs in your Chrome window or your Chrome browser, and it saves it directly to Google Drive. And so that's a nice one if you're looking for a quick add-on extension for your recording videos. And that's got a free and a paid option. And we'll look at that a little bit more tomorrow too, I think, yes, in our blended work. There's another add-on that I love for recording. And so let's see, I'm gonna look at education. Do they do me education here? So if you guys have any that you want to share in the discussion, you can drop them in the chat. You can drop them in the stream. One of the other ones that I use quite a bit is I use the Loom add-on. And so that one too is another one that when you add it to your browser, you can record easily. And so that works out really well. So if you're doing screencasting, those are two that that do that. So click, I'm the only one commenting. Does anybody want to drop in the chat any add-ons that they like or they use with their students right now? Nope, they do not. So Robin asks if the students need to have Screencastify or Loom extensions if we use them. They do not. So if you are trying to do screencasting, the Loom extension is going to be one that only you need. And let's see, is Flipgrid? Yep. So you don't have to worry about using that one. The students don't need that one. This one, Flipgrid, is one that I would use both with my students and myself because when we look at Flipgrid, you as a teacher need to create an account, but the students don't. Okay. And so Susan said that extensions are blocked, and so we'll have to talk to IT. And so that is something that in many situations I do see that in the districts. And so this is where if there are things that you would like, especially like the Grammarly or the Cami, Flipgrid, to make it easier for your students, I would ask to get those pushed out. For you guys, the Screencastify and the Loom really make things so much easier if you're going to be doing screencasting, because just having them in your browser window. But yes, so this is, and a lot of the schools that I work with, things are blocked, and so it. Yes, Mary, you can. The Bitmoji, you can make a virtual classroom for your Google Classroom, and it is super fun. It is super awesome. So yes, so some of these things are just like make your life a little easier. Other things will make it like Grammarly. You can bring in that that communication easily. The Immersive Reader is another one that I would consider adding. If you have, whoops. So it says it's the unofficial one, but even Microsoft recommends it. So Immersive Reader is the Microsoft tool. And once we have it installed, you can read anything. You can highlight and right click and it'll read it aloud to you. So this is really perfect for anybody. And so this is a great one for your students as they're going through. I'm trying to think which browser I stuck that on. I'll install it here so you can see how easy it is, or I probably can't install it. No, I can. All right, so I'm going to use it. That's great. I'm going to pin it. And how this one works is if I highlight my text that I want read, I can right click and it says, help me read this. And it'll pop open another window, hypothetically. It did it yesterday. But it'll read it to me and it gives me that, so it gives me all my text. And so for those of you that when we were talking about making quizzes, this is the extension that I would use for that. You also have a Chromebook. If you have the managed Chromebooks, you can turn on a screen reader for those. And so that would be something that you would want to think about for your students. So that pretty much, so those are, there are things like this that can really, really, really make your life a lot easier. And I don't add on a ton of things just because I don't, I mean, I just don't. But there are a few things that I use and I use a lot. I think on all the resources I shared with you was the Wakelet. The Wakelet add-on is hugely popular and makes life so much easier because it allows you to curate and create those lists. And so if you guys have been looking at all of the content stuff that I shared with you yesterday, I did that predominantly in Wakelet. And so, oh, hey, PE and health, I gave you stuff. I made stuff last night. Counseling, I'm still not there yet. I'm sorry. I'll get there. But so here, if you come in, this is a Wakelet. And so Wakelet is so easy to add to, and the other nice thing is you can collaborate, and they've made it so much easier for students to collaborate, so you can actually use it as an assignment if you want to. So the Wakelet app is one that, or the add-on is one that I use all the time personally, but I also use it, oops, this is Immersive Reader. But I also can see where you could use it with your students and use it very successfully that way too. So Wakelet might be another one that you might want to look at getting added. I know Miss Uppel used it extensively last year with her 8th graders and loved it. So let me show you Wakelet app somewhere, the Wakelet add-on and how easy it is. So here I have the Wakelet add-on. I can go to a Flipgrid. I can click on my Wakelet. It's going to pop up. And now I can pick whatever collection I want to drop it into, and it'll just be there. And so I can share it out that very easily. So Wakelet is a good one if you're going to be adding stuff. All right, so Cheryl, you have a question. How can we relocate one of the links that you gave us the other day? So do you know what I gave you? Oh, the music. Okay, so yes. So let's take these last few minutes. Go ahead and ask any questions or anything. So I've dropped in a number of Chrome add-ons that can be beneficial for you and or your students. So I'm going to go back to our classroom and we will look at how do you find the resources that were shared with you earlier in the week. And so everything that we've done this week is under classwork. And when we look at classwork, you have all of our topics on the side. And so here we have Google Drawings, Google Forms, Google Slides, and then under Content is where we have all of the content resources. And so here, this is where you're going to find for all of the content. So the music, sports, CTE, all of that. So content is where all of that kind of really focused ideas for you guys are, so you can go in and look at your, what you're trying to teach and get ideas for that. The recordings are also posted, and so I've posted all the recordings for every day. And they are under the recordings. And then we have the Getting Started with Google Classroom for the secondary, and the elementary are also there too. So Google Slides, we will revisit that tomorrow. So we'll be going through doing the Google Slides and using PDFs in an online environment again tomorrow. So come back. I do have a couple of new things that I'll throw at you, and just practice. I was talking with a coworker yesterday, and it's like, we really, even myself, I'm still learning tips and tricks and ideas, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. So and the other thing that so office hours is this afternoon from 3 to 4. Come back and see me, same link. If you came whatever day, Monday, you can come back again. It's not a one and done type of thing. I will be I've had a number of questions about connecting your, I can't think of what it's called. You have to use it for your lesson plans. Plan book. How you can connect Plan book to Google Classroom. And so we'll be able to do that. Yes, you can add audio to images on Google Slides. So if you want, yep, you can. We can do that. And so we can look at that tomorrow. We'll look at how we can add in audio tomorrow in our slides. And so we'll look at your Google Classroom and your Plan book and how we can connect them. And then office hours will be this afternoon from 3 to 4. And we'll also look at office hours tomorrow. I think I don't remember what time it is tomorrow. It's tomorrow afternoon, like 1:30. So those are the times that we have office hours coming up. So 2 more times of office hours. All right, so any last questions as we launch off? All right. Well, I am so, oh, there's even more Google Drawings that you guys shared. This is so much fun, you guys. Ooh, I love this one, Jack. Look at that. And look at the text and the drawing. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, and Justin, that's adorable. That's so cool. And so Greg, if you want to come to office hours this afternoon, we can kind of go through and try to figure out what's going on with your pictures, and what I'll make you share your screen, or we can walk through it and we'll figure it out. Cool. Oh, you guys, this is so fun. I had a lot of fun today. It was really fun to see you guys create and learn Google Drawings, and um, learn some of those tools that we can use in Google Classroom, and know that, you know, all of the pictures that we inserted into Google Drawings, those techniques we used, you can do the same thing in Google Slides. And so everything we did this morning, you can go into Google Slides and you can say, huh, I know how to insert an image now. I know how to do this. So super cool. Oh, Vanessa, you dropped something in. I could stay here all day. Oh, I love it. All the fonts. This is so cool. Well, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow morning. I think it's bright and early. I think tomorrow morning is bright and early. Let me double check. Thank you to everybody who gives me some feedback at the end of our days. It really helps me customize my day, your day for tomorrow or for the next day. And it also gives me an opportunity to kind of make sure I know if you need any extra support. Tomorrow morning we're back live at 8:30 with Blended, and so that's tomorrow. And this afternoon, don't forget office hours from 3 to 4. Same place, same Zoom login. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, and we'll see you at 3 o'clock this afternoon.